The afternoon passes, class passes. Once again, I find myself without a plan for something to do after school. So I head to the library to return a couple of books I finished reading. Oh, and now we get to talk to Lily and Hanako. I'm guessing we get to talk to all of the girls once this... because it seems like it's a day, and every day it does that heart thing, and it shows in the semicircle thing, and I count that as like a new chapter, I guess. So I'm thinking that we're going to talk to everybody in this chapter, day, whatever, and then before the end of it, we're going to get a girl. Or the next chapter is going to be all about getting the girl. Walking inside, I see there are about as many students as there were on Tuesday, all the more evident from the almost total silence enveloping the room. As I drop the books I'd borrow into the return slots on the counter, Yuko suddenly pops up from behind it, quite startled from the banging they make as they hit the trolley next to her. "Oh, sorry Yuko, I didn't mean to startle you." "No, that's fine, it happens a lot. I'm used to it by now." Can I help you?" "It's okay, I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyway." "I'm supposed I'll grab another book or two while I'm here. There's not much else to do after reading. So much during my stay in the hospital, it became a bit harder habit to break." I wander down to the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako had been the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come of it. Surprisingly though, she's there, absorbed completely in a very thick book. I decide against intruding on her like last time and get back to finding reading material. As an indiscriminable amount of time spent pursuing the aisles, I finally decide on a couple of books to get and slide them off the shelf. That kind of sounded like if I chose the other option the first time I met Hanako, then we would have talked there. So maybe that was me not getting Hanako. With a minimum of fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter, check out my books, and pop them into my bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the main building, sunset isn't too far away. A small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. Feeling utterly drained, I head to my room and read the books I borrowed. There's been enough action and excitement for one day already. The first is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I know the story, of course, but I've never actually read the original book. It's just as trippy as I remember the story to be, with the wacky characters and nonsense plot. I start thinking of myself some kind of Alice too, haplessly tumbling down the rabbit hole into this cripple wonderland. Okay, that's a rather strong expression. Still, the isolated location and the overt way the school accommodates to absolutely everything is unsettling. It's like another world. I wonder why I can't shake the feeling of being an outsider like Alice, despite most of everyone being so hospitable and friendly with me. Turning another page, my mind starts drifting further away from the book. It's quiet. I can hear my heartbeat thumping against the fabric of my shirt. For some reason, it makes me feel really bad, like it has since that time in the forest with Iwanko. Like I was locked in a cage with something nasty and scary. I put the book down for a while and stare at the ceiling, taking my time to shake off the feeling. 200 pages later, I fell asleep. So we're gonna get the hearty thing. I'm guessing this is the one where we get the girl. This hearty thing. Oh, we're starting class. Students roll into class out for the Saturday morning session, each and every one of them spotting the tired eyes of people who have worked through the night. With only a day left to prepare, I suppose it's no surprising. Thankfully, we only have to suffer through classes until the lunch break, and then our time is our own. Or it will be the next day, and it's at the festival we get somebody. That would also make sense. lurches into the class in a tired stagger. I suppose students aren't the only people here that enjoy their late Friday nights. Without saying a word, he scrawls some page and question numbers on the board and lumps down at his desk. It's completely typical behavior for him, but it appears that no one in the class is going to call him out on it. Wordlessly, the students shuffle their textbooks into position and get to work. Not wanting to break the trend, I do the same. Fatigue has made the class antisocial. Not a peep is heard among the ruffling papers. That can partly be attributed to the two empty seats behind me. For some reason, Misha and Shizune aren't present, probably doing council work for the festival. It's very quiet without Misha present. Wonder if she was born as rowdy as she is, or she's making up for Shizune's lack of voice. Can I speak to you for a moment? I'm so engrossed in thinking about Misha, I didn't even notice the teacher approaching my desk. Sure, what's this about? It's probably better if we speak outside the classroom. Oh no. Something about this doesn't sound too good, but I stand up and follow him out into the hallway. He stands in the hallway scratching his head as he works out what he's trying to say. Not knowing what's going on, I wait silently. I heard from the school's head nurse that you had an incident the other day. So it's about that. Well, it's kind of, but it's not anything to be worried about. Yes it is. Anything that can endanger your health is something to be worried about. We try our best here to prepare you for life here. Part of that involves knowing your limits and how to work around them. It would be remiss of me if I did not speak up about this. Alright, I get it. I'm sorry. He closes his eyes in frustration and realizes that this possibly wasn't the best thing to say. Something tells me that you're not sorry. Pretend as much as you want, but this isn't a normal school. A lot of people have put in a lot of time, effort, and money to make sure that you and other students here can have the same level of education as your peers. For you to abuse that by throwing out advice, especially medical advice, is plain selfish. Not quite sure if this is actually how he feels, or if this is some act that he's practiced many times to guilt trip students into doing the right thing. Either way, it's working. I understand this is all new to me, and I apologize. I know my limits now, and I'll be sticking to them. He appears to lighten up a little, satisfied that his message has been received. Then on to my next question. How are you finding your studies? I understand you were laid up for a while. We're not too far ahead, are we? I don't really think so. I tried to keep up when I was in the hospital, so it hasn't been too hard. He taps his chin and raises his eyebrows as he absorbs this information. Is that so? I suppose there are still students out there who realize the importance of learning. I wouldn't go that far. I was only trying to keep myself occupied in my little life support prison. Well, yeah, you gotta keep up with these things, right? That's exactly it. One wrong move in this world and you're left behind, right? Right, wouldn't want that to happen. No, you wouldn't. Every week there's a new scientific discovery. Most of them mean nothing to the layperson, but any of them could be the key to the next Big Bang. I'll keep that in mind. It's obvious that his serious talk is over, and he's gone back to his standard, slightly scatterbrained approach to life. I think in hindsight that I prefer him this way. He's slightly more predictable in his unpredictability. Well then, I think that's all I really had to say. Let's go back inside, shall we? My relief at the suggestion is something. Sure, you're the boss, right? He pauses for a moment. I don't think any of my students have ever said that to me before. For an instant, I consider replying to this, but something deep within me tells me to shut my mouth and get back in the classroom. A few of the students jump at the sound of the door, rapidly trying to pretend that they are working on the questions on the board. Some don't even bother, and their heads slumped on the desk as they nap. Thankfully, it would appear that Motu doesn't even notice them. Turns to his desk and retrieves a scientific journal from one of his drawers. I guess I got to him there. The class returns to the near silence that he left, and I left in before our chat. Mixed feelings of tiredness and anticipation buzz around the room. Everyone here is either waiting for a chance to rest or the chance to get their last-minute preparations underway. The clock on the wall slowly ticks the remaining class time away, until finally the bell will cry out, ending the torment. Before you all leave, I expect the answers for those problems by Monday. The class sighs as one, instantly regretting slacking off, but still acutely aware of the more pressuring issue at hand. The class empties in a blink and everyone rushes to the last-minute festival preparations. I stay behind and try to quickly finish the questions so I don't have to bother with it over the rest of the weekend, with the festival and all tomorrow. Apart from me, Hanako is the only one left, obviously waiting for Lily. It's weird that Lily comes all the way to our classroom to pick her up. I expect that moving around is at least nominally harder for her than it is for Hanako. But it's none of my business, and I actually don't ask about it from Hanako. Despite the relative proximity of our seats, neither tries to strike up a conversation about that or anything else either. So as an oppressive silence falls upon the classroom, time passes in silence. It's probably just 15 minutes or so, but it feels longer. I turn pages of my notebook. Hanako turns pages of the novel she's reading. Her pencil lead splinters against the paper just as I was about to finish a paragraph. The sound of my irritated sigh and subsequent fumbling around for a sharpener feel like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. Hanako keeps her eyes firmly away from my direction. Before long, Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. Hanako. Her name is all it takes to make Hanako jump up from her desk and run to Lily. They talk quietly for a moment, but it isn't long before Lily leaves down the hallway and Hanako idles back into the classroom, taking her seat once again. I watch Hanako out of the corner of my eye, out of sheer curiosity at the idea that the two would be separated. For a couple of minutes, she does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom evidently becomes too much for her though, her slender frame reaching into her bag and pulling out a small book. Come to think of it, isn't that the one I saw her reading at the library? She must be quite a fast reader to get through them at this rate. After about 10 minutes of restlessly shuffling in her seat and trying to read, Hanako closes her book and leaves too. As should I, since the assignment is all but finished and there is nothing else to do in the classroom. Not that I have anything to do anywhere else either.